Ladies and gentlemen, the patch notes are finally here for Spider-Gwen's new uniform and Tier 4. There's a lot more to this update than we think because of all the events that are being packaged in. So let's dive right in with the rolling patch update. So this is not going to have any maintenance. There's not going to be any downtime. You're just going to be able to update your game at around 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, or later for people further east in the world. And you're basically just going to close your game, reopen it, and it'll prompt you to download the patch. I will be live tonight at around 10:30 to 11 p.m., which is usually when these patches land. They're usually a little early to check out Spider-Gwen and potentially her Tier 4. Now, first big thing you're going to notice, her icon is mask off. This is very confusing. Her icon is mask off. What we've seen so far of her is mask on, but I'm very happy to see that at least in some form we get her mask off. Now, it doesn't mean that she's going to be mask off for her abilities, but at least we get to see that they actually modeled her mask off, and as I suspected, they did a fantastic job. This is why I wanted to see her mask off, because it looks so much like the character from the movie. They did such a good job recreating the animation style, not the style, but like the essence of the animation. So yeah, kudos to the team, the art team. They always do a fantastic job. I've been their biggest fan since day one, and that has not changed. Now, let's take a look at what has changed for the skills. Her uniform effect is buffing her attack now by 40%, which is up by, I think, 15 or 20. And her basic defense by 20, which is up by 10. And then the all speed, which is nice. One mistake here, and I sort of give them the stink eye for that. Adamantium Wrath. They copied and pasted the wrong words here. This is Wolverine's Tier 3 skill. So they took the template for Wolverine when they were filling this out for Spider-Gwen. Like, they deleted all the stuff. I mean, they could keep this here because it's the same, right? But they deleted this, changed it from combat to speed. They kept this the same. They kept this the same, right? But then they made the mistake of not deleting this. And this is kind of embarrassing. It's just it's a small thing, but it's still kind of embarrassing. So no, Spider-Gwen is not going to turn into Wolverine with her Awaken skill, but they are increasing the number of hits and the damage of her Awaken skill. So it's going to be the same as Spider-Woman's and Silk's. They're not changing that animation or adding a new one, but they're just cranking up the hits and cranking up the damage. But yeah, right now it's a mistake here calling it Adamantium Wrath. It's a little sloppy. Now, her passive is going to be 25% base dodge and 35% physical attack, which is nice. Her other passive, her Tier 2 passive, is 40% guaranteed dodge and then 40-30 skill damage bonus damage. As a Spider-Verse character, you want to pay attention to these because if they're lower than what Chasm gives, then he becomes a much better support. But Chasm, I believe, gives 30-30 or 35-35. So yeah, it's either worse or the same, essentially, as what she gives herself. And skill damage, bonus damage don't stack as far as we know. So it doesn't matter. Chasm doesn't matter here. But the 40% guaranteed dodge is a lot. That's one of the highest guaranteed dodges we have in the game, I believe. So keep that in mind for the rest of the characters' build here. We got nothing on the first two skills, just web and stun, pretty straightforward. On her third skill, crisis detection, she's getting iframe ignore and counterattack. So it's been a long time since we've seen counterattack when defending. It might go back to last year, to be honest. Like, very few characters have counterattack this year. It's very, very rare. I mean, honestly, the last meta character that I can remember having counterattack is Blue Dragon. Yeah, it's been that long. I mean, there's probably someone in between then and now, but that's the one that stands out for me. It's pretty rare. And then she's going to get a 30% heal. Unfortunately, it's only a 30% penetration chance, which is very low. I'm not too hype about that, but we'll see how many hits. If the skill has a lot of hits, then the 30% chance is not too bad. If the skill doesn't have a lot of hits, then they've made a crucial mistake. Then she gets super armor, all defense, 6 seconds of immunity, and she gets a 1.5% accumulation. That's very strong, and that's accumulation based on damage dealt, not damage taken. So this is a very strong skill. It obviously positions her potentially as a hybrid character, and certainly with the possibility for PvP, despite there being so many strong combat types right now: Hulk, Carnage, Wolverine. But yeah, right now the only thing that's worrying me is the 30% penetration. That's very low. For PvP characters nowadays, it's got to be at least 50%, like 50% minimum. And again, it depends on the number of hits, right? The lower number of hits, the higher penetration chance you want. The more hits, the less penetration chance you can get away with, because you only need a couple of hits to really kill people at a high level realistically. And then her fourth skill gives her invincibility. It gives her a frenzy buff for 6 seconds. And then her fifth skill, Spiral Kick, applies fracture, incapacitation, paralysis, and then it gives her a 120% damage proc for 10 seconds. Very strong stuff here. Very short cooldowns. Could be a very strong hybrid speed female hero. So yeah, I'm liking that thus far. It looks quite nice. And then it gets even more interesting. Her tier 4, she has a lot of very interesting effects. Her tier 4 is like Black Widow's. So they're bringing back the Black Widow tier 4. When you use the tier 4, she gets 30 hits to dodge. But they've changed the wording on this, and they've updated it for Black Widow as well. So now it says dodges 30 hits, including attacks with ignore dodge. So that wording change to me might indicate that this is actually going to be even stronger than we think. It's like pure dodge, and it might have not been functioning like that before. So Black Widow might actually get stronger after this patch for PvP. So it's going to be interesting here. And then it increases her damage dealt by 30% when she's dodging, and then it also increases her chain hit by 35%. Very spicy stuff. So nice hybrid, very thematic tier 4 ability. I really like it. I really dig it. Like, who knows if she's going to be meta for PvP? It's obviously going to be the question of whether she can survive against Wolverine, right? Because, like, obviously combat types trump speed types. So can she do enough damage to trigger Wolverine's artifact? And then can she survive long enough? That's basically the main question. But Spider-Man's finally getting a partner for PvP, right? If you wanted that full Spider-Verse PvP team, you're going to have to add Gwen to that lineup, because Gwen and Peter together are going to be absolute headaches for a lot of teams, and they're probably going to wreak a lot of havoc if you don't have a lot of ignore dodge and a lot of potentially combat types. And then she's getting an artifact. This artifact's pretty interesting. I don't like it necessarily because it's a 20% chance to activate when she dodges, but it sort of makes sense, and with all the dodging that she does, it should trigger quite consistently at times. She gets ignore dodge, so a base of 20% ignore dodge, which is then added with total instinct. So this could probably go up to about 35% ignore dodge, which is not bad. It could be higher. But then she also gets iframe ignore, which is interesting. So she gets iframe ignore for 5 seconds, and it goes up to 100% activation rate for this ability. And 5 seconds every 10 seconds means that she'll have, like, this is pretty strong, right? Because her third skill gives her ignore iframe, and then she has potential for even more ignore iframe. She could have ignore iframe on essentially all her skills, depending on the timing of things. So yeah, this is quite nice, and it could give her an opportunity to survive the initial part of the fight while you're waiting for her third skill to come off cooldown, if that makes sense, right? Because at the beginning of the fight, she triggers a dodge, which triggers her artifact, then she has ignore iframe, then she can go into her maybe iframe first skill or iframe second skill. Let's say one of those two has an iframe because it's half the cooldown of the other skills. The other skills are 14 seconds or higher. This is 7 seconds or higher. So 3 seconds into the fight, she does a couple of dodges. She pops the 1 or the 2. She's in iframe, and that gives her enough time to stall if the enemies are waiting for their iframe skill to come off cooldown to then pop the third skill. So again, it's going to depend on a lot of different factors. I know I'm sort of painting the optimal picture. I'm not trying to hype you guys up or overhype you or FOMO you into getting Spider-Gwen, but it's just something that I thought about and I wanted to share with you guys because I can sort of see how the synergy is intended, right? The devs have an intended synergy. It doesn't always work out, but maybe it's going to work out. We have the uniform collection here, so it is the end of this update. We have this confirmed, but there is a little sort of confusing aspect, because if you look at the wording here, it says Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. So a lot of people are looking at this and saying, whoa, hold up. There's going to be a Part 2? You're going to give us Scarlet Spider, maybe a new Spider character, like we're going to Spider-Ham maybe, right? The dinosaur spider. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. It's certainly possible that this is going to happen, but I don't think so. Why I think it's called Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 is that these updates are planned 6 months in advance. And originally, the creators of the movies, right, the people that are pumping out these movies, they were planning to have the Across the Spider-Verse movie be a 2-part movie. So it was originally going to be called Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 and Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. They've since then changed their wording, and it's called Across the Spider-Verse, and the next movie is Beyond the Spider-Verse. But I'm guessing that they didn't want to change this here to confuse people, or maybe they just didn't update it yet. I don't know, whatever. But That's my thinking, and that's what a lot of people are thinking as well. So I just wanted to share that with you guys in case you're like really hype about part 2. It's possible there's a part 2. Like with Spider-Verse, there's always characters. There's Madam Web. There's just so many characters they can pull from. Hell, they could even give us not Ben Riley, Uncle Ben. But yeah, that's what I think is going on here. I don't personally think we're getting a part 2 for this update, but who knows, right? Who knows? And then we're getting a couple of changes here. So Spider-Gwen aesthetic changes. Spider-Gwen will now appear in Miles' 5th skill with her new uniform. So they're updating the animation, which I think is really nice. They need to do this more often. And frankly, they need to do this for Shadowland. They need to like update all the Shadowland stages with new uniforms and the new characters. Yeah. Okay, anyways, we're still fighting like World War II Captain America in Shadowland because it's from like 6 years ago. And then Black Widow's tier 4 skill has been changed to be more precise. So it says the skill effects have not been changed. It's just it's kind of confusing. They're saying the effects haven't changed, but it says that the skill effect test has been changed, which is, yeah. So before it said evades 30 hits and increases damage dealt. Now it says dodges 30 hits, including attacks with ignore dodge, and increases damage dealt by 60%. So the increases damage dealt by 60% and the increases damage dealt by 60%, this is the same here, right? So it's not changing in that sense, but I genuinely think this dodge shit is going to be better now. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong about this, but the wording is substantially different, right? Dodges 30 hits, including attacks with ignore dodge, versus evades 30 hits. I'm guessing maybe players were too confused by evade versus dodge, and they didn't like the difference, the change. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. And then they're doing a couple of bug fixes. Not being able to attack Kang in certain aspects of the fight is being like addressed, whatever. Not being able to proceed to the next phase after destroying the force field has been updated as well. So that's it for the update as far as Spider-Gwen goes. However, there is a couple of other things I wanted to talk to you guys about, okay? So, first things first, as hype as everybody is about Spider-Gwen, I do want to highlight something here. I was hoping to tier 4 Spider-Gwen initially because I was hoping she would be, like, very clearly for PvE. And like we talked about, she has very nice abilities. She's got agility and leadership. She's got speed, hero, human, female. Like, she's got all the nice, classic stuff for World Boss Legend, right? If we calculated it from the Giga Guide, right? I updated it for Gamora, don't worry. But you can see here 29, right? Like she's kind of the queen of that, right? However, we are forgetting one other character that could be waiting in the wings, okay? And the character is Luna Snow. All right, shout out to my boy Deathproof, fantastic content creator. He made a video about this. Let's see here. He made a video. Oh, I gotta like the video. He made a video about this on July 7th, so a few days ago, basically saying we're all waiting for Spider-Gwen, which is true. And don't get me wrong, I like her, but let's analyze what's going on here. And he's essentially, he's talking about the possibility of Luna Snow, and it's a strong possibility. I absolutely agree with Deathproof here. If you take a look at if you take a look at that's not what I wanted to do. If you take a look at Luna, there's a lot of costumes available for her. We know Danny Koo made a whole bunch. We haven't seen any of them in game, like the Cyberpunk one, etc. We have a lot of players in one way or another asking for Luna tier 4, and we have this one here from the comic. So like we have a lot of sort of context clues or sort of evidence by proxy about Luna, right? This is the Tiger Division 1 that we got the 8-year anniversary card for. So there's like Luna's on the mind, right? Luna's on the brain. And we know that Sharon got her tier 4 not that long ago, but Luna hasn't gotten anything. And if we go back and look at the timing here, okay? So July 19th, 2022, is when I released the patch notes for the Iceman and Storm seasonal uniforms, where you have to buy them with the tokens for the female character. Now, I know this is going to upset some people to hear, but there's a strong possibility that they are going to make Luna's next uni paywall. There is a strong possibility, mainly because like it fits together, right? Luna hasn't been released yet. She would she would kind of power creep Gwen, at least in PvE, if they don't make her for PvP. and they always make the female character. They always make the female character the paywall one, right? Between the male and the female character. They always make the female character for the seasonal uniforms the paywall one. And they did it last year to Storm. Why not do it again for another tier 4, right? So it's definitely a possibility. We're right now, this is July 11th. So if you go based on last year, it's going to be next week's update. There's not going to be an update next week like that. There's a possibility that, I mean, so it's kind of difficult to give you guys the full answer here. If we go in game, the future pass is ending as soon as this wants to show up. Yeah, the future pass is ending in 2 days. Okay, you can see here it's got 2 days left. So generally speaking, we start seeing sneak peeks when the future pass is over. So today being Tuesday, I actually suspect to see sneak peeks on Thursday and Friday for the next update. Now, what they may do is they may start with another mid-month. Sometimes they do this. They haven't done this in a while, but sometimes they start with the mid-month. They start with the small update to give them more time on the main update, okay? So we could see the very next update 1 week after, like tonight's Super Spider-Gwen. Next week should be another update, right? They're not going to make us wait 2 weeks with just Spider-Gwen. So we could be seeing the summer uniforms, which means we could be seeing if Luna is there. If Luna's not there, then I think it gives a lot more support and sort of safety to tier 4ing Spider-Gwen. If Luna is there, then it kind of puts Spider-Gwen's value in question. But it's also possible that they're going to delay the summer uniforms by another 2 weeks in order to, tap into the FOMO of Spider-Gwen. So I know it's kind of complicated. I'll basically pull up a calendar here so I can try to explain what the hell I'm talking about. Because I have it all in my head, but if you're not like obsessed with the game like I am, then it just doesn't, if you're not cooked like me, basically, you don't even have to be obsessed with the game, you should be cooked like me. So basically, if we take a look at a calendar, all right, we're July 11th right now, okay? So I am expecting another update on the 18th. This is going to be a full update with maintenance because the future pass is ending on Thursday. So I'm suspecting we're going to see a sneak peek Friday, maybe a sneak peek Saturday, and then maybe a sneak peek Sunday or Monday or whatever like that, and then patch notes Tuesday morning and the update Tuesday night, whatever. That's what I'm expecting. But because it's so close to this update, there's a possibility that this is going to be the summer update, right? And the summer update being July 18th would match perfectly with this stuff, right? Where you can see it landed on the 21st because they announced it on they had the patch notes on the 19th. So it would line up, right? They had the patch notes on the Tuesday or the Monday, whatever, you get what I'm saying here. So that's possible. However, it's also possible that they realize this, and let's say they're going to do Luna tier 4 with the summer uniform, or they're going to do Rogue or whatever, right? Some other speed female character, because we know this is the thing, right? Spider-Gwen's female, and we know that the paywall character is always female. So then from there, it's only going to be a blast, combat, speed, or universal, right? For female, So it's going to match the gender at the very least, right? So there's a possibility that they know that, which means that they're going to delay the summer update, right? Because sometimes you get the summer update in August. So in that case, there's basically another possibility, which is the update still lands on the 18th, but it's a different it's the main update with the maintenance, whatever, but it's not the summer uniforms. And then 2 weeks later, right, not the 25th, but the 1st, is when they have the summer uniforms, which would be 3 weeks after Gwen lands, which would be enough time to tap into that FOMO for players that can't wait and don't want to wait and don't want to risk it. Which means we would quote unquote know about about Luna, but whoever the summer uniforms is on the 27th, 28th, 29th, or 30th, right? That's when that's the time frame for when they would release the sneak peeks if they were planning to drop it on the 1st. Otherwise, if they're dropping it much sooner on the 18th, then we're going to see sneak peeks maybe 14, 15, or 16. So you've got a tough decision to make. At the very least, I would recommend waiting. I would recommend to everyone, unless you're a massive whale or you are going to tier 4 Spider-Gwen no matter what, I would say wait to see what the sneak peeks are going to be for the next update. If they're going to start with the summer uniforms, then see who it's going to be. And if it's not Luna, then full speed ahead on Gwen. If it is Luna, then we have a much more difficult conversation to have and a much more difficult decision to make. Anywho, hit me up in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Smash the like button. It helps out the channel tremendously. Appreciate all the subscribers as well. It really helps me continue to make this content every day. So if you are a subscriber on this channel here instead of being one on the RIP Twitch channel, I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.